This is a story about a cute plant which I planted in my summer camp. My mom gave me an old pot to grow my plant. She gave me some soil, some water, and some coriander seeds. First, I painted the pot and decorated it. Then, I added some soil to the pot. Then I sprinkled some coriander seeds and then I poured some water into it and then kept it in my balcony. But unfortunately, my plant could not get sunlight as it was a rainy day. But after a few days, I saw that the plant was growing. I was very happy and felt very proud of myself. Thank you. This is a story.
I am KV Siddharth from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Today I am going to tell you how I learned badminton. It was the summer holidays and we desperately needed physical activities. Only to realize that our school itself are holding physical activities. We registered our names and I chose badminton thinking that it's going to be easy and just take the bat, start hitting. But it was way. Hello, I am KV Siddharth.
Also, you are going to tell a story to your parents about something, some kind of story about what happened. What did you feel about what happened?
Okay,
I see some people have already started writing. Great. Okay, so 1 minute for you to tell a story. Your time starts in 3 and 2 and 1 and go.
Okay, once in my class, we were doing one clay modeling craft of the earth. Okay, so when we were doing it, many people were making some earths of yellow, blue, green, and then suddenly the smell was really strong of one of my friend's clay. So, you know what happened? The most funniest thing happened. One bird came and one pigeon came inside our class and the class went wild. Everyone just called the teacher, ma'am, help us. One pigeon is just staring here and it tried to eat the clay. But lucky our PE teacher, he rushed into the room to help us. He took the clay out of the pigeon's beak and took it outside to let it free. And thank you. This is my tiny Mike story. Wait.
ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ.
My name is Prajnali Pelle. I am 9 years old. My school name is G.S. Amonkar Vidya Mandir Maksagova. I am studying in 5th class. One day, I, along with my parents, went to the Morjem beach. The beach was very crowded by Indians and foreigners. I collected many shells and pebbles on the seashore. I was very happy to see the sunset. I also see the little baby crab. The people were playing footballs and volleyballs on the beach. I enjoyed chocolate ice cream and played in the water and the sand. The I wanted to play for some more time, but my parents said you will go home. Thank you. My name is Prajnali Pelle.
I am in class 4, studying in Cambridge School, Noida. My feeling is happy. I am happy because my neighbor's dogs just gave 18 puppies. The breed of the first puppy is Pug and the second puppy's breed is Labrador. I would love to take a puppy from there, but my parents don't allow me, so I am also very sad. I also go to the puppies and play with them every day.
Thank you.
I'm Rini. I study in class 3. My school name is Cambridge School, Srinivas, Delhi. I am so excited because we were going on the beach. And then I thought to go for a swim with my daddy. And then we gone for a swim a while. And then we came back. And then I played in the sand. And then my mom said that it's time to go home. But I was so sad that I didn't want to go home. I had fun at the beach. So then they thought that to go to a one hotel. And then we went to a hotel. And then we slept there. And then we will go to our home tomorrow. And then when it was tomorrow, I was cranky and I didn't want to go home at all. So then, Mom took me home with my hand grabbed. Thank you.
Kashish, you'll have to unmute.
Sorry. All right. Now can everybody hear me? Yes. A big rainbow high. We remember? We learned. हमने सब में एक रेनबो हाई सुना. Yes. सीखा with Bhakti ma'am. Awesome. All right. So quickly tell me who is seeing me for the second time today. Jaldi batao. My favorite question that I like to ask every time. Who is seeing me for the second time today? Yes, that means I'll know that you did yoga with me or no. आज मॉर्निंग में हमने साथ में योगा किया कि नहीं? Excellent. I'm seeing twos and ones. No problem. Who are seeing me for the first time? A big hello to you all. Again, welcome to the storytelling workshop by Tiny Mike Story. We have already enjoyed 2 days of the workshop, right? हमने अभी कुछ बच्चों के stories भी सुने. How good. So, I would encourage that let's all of us post as many stories as we can. Because Sudarshan has given us such good ideas, isn't it? How to create a story. And the stories are so short and quick, isn't it? And you know what? Today, we have 4 little friends also joining us. You want to see them as well? Are you excited? So not just Sudarshan, but the 4 little friends, Shlok, Jihan, Swara and Nitya are going to join us too. And we have all of them here. Big rainbow hi, everyone. All right, so this time we are doing with both the hands. Amazing. Sudarshan, we've been listening to the stories from the kids, how you train them into it and how beautifully they express themselves out. So we've listened to very, very interesting stories, a few about the camp, someone talking about their beach stories. Would like to take this forward today. So over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Kashish. Thank you, everyone at Habuild for having us here. And hello, everyone. Once again, this is the 3rd day we're doing it. In case you missed the first 2 days, it's okay. You can carry forward from here as well. And today, as Kashish announced, we've got 4 amazing people. Hi, Shlok. Hi. Hi, Jihan. Hi, Swara. Hi, Nitya. Okay, so we've got all of them and they are going to help us kind of get better at storytelling. Now, how do we do that? See, in the first two sessions, we explored different tools to help us get better. Last time we did the emotion wheel, yes? All of these sessions are going to use different kinds of tools to do the same thing, which is tell a 1 minute story. We call it the Tiny Mike story. You can call it whatever you like. But this 1 minute story about something that happened in your life, something that you felt about something that happened in your life, is what you have to talk about. Here's what I'd like everybody joining in to do. In the comments, just type which city you're joining in from. And all the kids who are on screen, I would like to ask you where you're joining in from as well. So, Swara, where are you joining in from?
I'm joining in from Pune.
From Pune, okay. And I think, Nitya, you're also from Pune, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so have both of you ever met?
No.
No.
Not yet. Here's the thing. Sometimes we don't realize that virtual sessions like these are such an incredible opportunity to meet people from your same city, from different cities. If you see the comments, people are joining in from Mumbai. I see Mumbai, Bengaluru, Mumbai, Pune, Dehradun, Tamil Nadu, Bangalore, NCR, Chennai, Pune. How incredible is it? Often we watch reels or we do something else on our phone, but it's passive, as in somebody's made something and we're just taking that in. But this is live. And sometimes we forget that beyond the screen is a real person from a different part of the city, in case of Swara and Nitya, or a different part of the country, in case of so many of you. And how amazing is that? We're going to hear stories from somebody who's had a different life in a different city. So, Shlok, which city are you joining in from?
I'm joining. So I'm from Mumbai, but right now I'm joining in from Kodaikanal.
From Kodaikanal. Oh, okay, very nice. And Jihan, what about you?
I'm joining from Bangalore.
From Bangalore. Okay, so we've got Pune, Kodaikanal for now, and Mumbai, Mumbai otherwise, and Bangalore here on the screen. I'm also joining in from Pune, everybody, and everyone else listening is joining in from different spaces. Here's what I want everybody to do, okay? All the kids on the screen and all the kids listening on YouTube. I want you to look around you and go and find an interesting object that you can bring and keep with you. And I'll tell you what we're going to do with it, okay? So look around, and go and find an interesting object that you can get to the screen. Okay, I'll give you 5 seconds to do that. Everybody do that. 5 seconds, and then we'll see how objects can help us think of different stories as well. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, and okay, great. What have you got? Show me. Okay. Okay, Shlok has got some sunglasses, there's a fighter jet, there are books. And so tell me this, is there a story that comes to your mind based on the object that you have held up? Is there a story from your life that comes to your mind? I see a thumbs up from Shlok and Zihan. Shlok, we'll start with you. Tell me, what do you remember about the sunglasses? Keep it to about a minute, like a Tiny Mike story, but you could go a little up and down. Yes, what's the story that comes to your mind in 3, 2, 1?
When I went to US, I visited my cousins, and my younger cousin really likes to wear sunglasses. He wears it inside the house, outside the house, in daytime, in nighttime. He is in love with sunglasses. And one day, I was just walking inside the house and I saw him wearing sunglasses. And it was evening time. So I asked him, "Why are you wearing sunglasses?" And he said, "I love sunglasses. I'm going to wear them everywhere." So I was like, "Okay." But then my older cousin was like, "This is getting a bit annoying. Let's see what we can do about this." So one day while he was sleeping, we took his sunglasses, and when he woke up, the only thing that could be heard in the house was, "Where are my sunglasses?" When we went to him, he was in such a rage that he didn't listen to anything we were saying, and in the end we had to give them back.
Okay, well done. Everybody give Shlok a round of applause. Well done. Well done, well done, well done. Super. Okay, up next, Jihan, I saw your hand was raised as well. Okay, 1 minute for you to share your story. Your time starts in three, two, one.
So this fighter jet which you can see here, I got it on the aero show which I had gone today. I mean on this year, and my mother thinks it's a junk piece in the house, so I have to hide it from her. And right now I've kept it on my study table. But when she comes to clean the study table, she thinks that I wish this wasn't there. It would just make life easier for me. I don't know why, but she just hates it. There's nothing that it has done to her. And for buying it itself, I had to tell my father to convince my mother to buy it. And now my cousin brother, my cousin sister, all of them like it. But my mother, she just doesn't understand it's so nice. And everything else, all her art materials, I've never ever told anything about it. It's all over the house. And even in my room, it's like doesn't have in her
Okay, I think your mum heard you saying this about her and she decided to disconnect the internet. That is what happened, Jihan. But let's give Jihan a round of applause. Yes. Okay, anybody else has got a story related to an object that they have? Okay, Nitya's got one. Okay, Nitya in three and two and one and go.
this book I got I bought it from a store, and I was going to gift it to my friend, and my friend said that we are going to have numbers on the gifts. So my friend got this book's number, and I said, "Can we exchange, please?" So we exchanged, and I got this book, which I only bought from the store, and I was going to give to my friend. It was kind of funny, and then my mother told, "Hey, this is the same book. Did anyone else also buy?" But I said, "No, I exchanged it from my friend, the number of the book." Actually, I was going to get a paint set. I said, "No, I don't want them." After that, uh, I am happy with this book, and this book is really nice. Thank you. This is my
Okay.
tiny story.
Wonderful. Let's give Nitya a round of applause. Well done, well done, well done. Okay, super. Swara, do you have an object that you have a story about as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, three, two, one, go.
So, I have an entire station I call the glue station. I have around 10 balls to glue. I don't know what to do with them, but I'm still so obsessed with glue. Whenever I go buy something, I just buy glue. Go buy glue. And my sister, she finished all her glue, so she keeps using mine, and I keep scolding her, and that girl, she's like, "Arey, you have a glue station, why do you care about your glue? I only have one glue, that too which is finished." But we still keep arguing, and like, this story is about the entire glue station, and I took a entire week to just buy glues and then set the glue station up. And I'm just so obsessed with glue, I don't know why. And to be honest, I don't share them with anyone. So this is my tiny mic story.
Wonderful. That's your minute. Everybody give Swara a round of applause. Well done. Okay, so for everyone listening in, the kids, I usually don't know what stories they're going to talk about. Even when I ask them to pick up an object, it's not that the stories are well prepared in their head, right? For everyone listening in, the reason we do this is because many of us have been told that you have to be perfect when you go on stage and tell a story. Many of us have been told that you have to practice a lot and then you'll be confident when you go and tell a story. At Tiny Mike Story, we believe that stories are a way to develop other skills. If you regularly talk about things from your life, you start observing details in everyday life, if you regularly start talking about things you feel, you start developing better understanding of emotions that you're feeling. So it's okay if it's not perfect. When you started walking, did you obsess over every single step of yours, that every step has to be absolutely perfect? No. You took one step, you wobbled a little, you took another step, you wobbled a little, and you maybe fell down. And did people say, oh, why did you not take the most perfect step at 1 year of age? That never happens, yes? So why should we expect ourselves to tell the perfect story every time? जैसे सौरभ कहते हैं ना कि योगा हर दिन करो, every day, yoga every day. Why? Because even if your asana initially isn't perfect, if you do it every single day, you slowly get better. Similarly, even if one individual story of yours isn't perfect, doesn't matter. It's like a step that a newborn is taking. Eventually, just taking one step after another, you will get better at every single step. So then, if after that you want to run, you can run. If after that you want to jump, you can jump. If after that you want to take your leg, put it behind your head in an advanced yoga posture, you can do. But all of that begins with taking one step at a time, which is telling one story at a time. And that's why, like Saurav says, like Kashish says, yoga every day, we say tell a story every day. And the way we've structured this is 1 minute story from your life, something you see, something you feel. And it's a practice. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. And without knowing, you'll start developing other skills. So, for everyone listening, I would like you, if you've not already, to take your phone or your laptop or anything else that you're listening into and go sit next to your parents, because this is as much applicable to parents as it is to kids. I told the story on day 2 of how I used to go to my mother and say that, Mama, tell me a story, tell me a story, tell me a story. And I'm sure everyone here also asks their parents to tell a story. So, what we want is you to develop this as an habit. Ask your parents to tell you a story every day, and you tell a story every day as well, because stories are like magic. And I'll tell you more about this in just a little while. For everybody who's listening and is not next to their parents, make sure you stand up and go and sit next to them as well. So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to play a couple of other stories that some of the kids have shared. And then I'm going to introduce the Tiny Mike story game. Because the intention is, this is today and tomorrow. And after that, we won't be doing this. I mean, you could, if you want, you could come and join our regular sessions. But I want to leave you with a format that you can continue even without me. And that's what we're going to do. We call it the Tiny Mike story game. So before that, let's see a couple of stories of the kids. And as you observe the stories of these kids, I want you to think of, what do these stories make me think? What do these stories make me feel? Are these stories that are fictional, or are these stories that are individual, as in personal? Are these stories something that only the child could have shared? And does that make the stories more beautiful? Does that make the stories more interesting? Okay. With that said, let's play the 2 videos back in theme.
And started digging all around. One day, my brother was crying. I told my mother, do something. So she showed him a JCB which was outside, and since then he's been crazy over these things. Now I have construction inside the house and outside the house. I sleep to the sound of it, do my homework to the sound of it, and I wake up to the sound of it. When the construction workers were digging, I was like, no. My brother was like, yay. When the JCB was digging, I was like, no. And my brother was like, yes. While we were coming to TMS, we saw a cement mixer. I was like, no. And my brother was like, come from behind and he's like, well, that looks stupid. And then he started laughing. I was like, wait, that actually looks like stupid. You know what? Painting is stupid.
I'm not going to do painting. It's just not my thing. I can't do it. Whenever I tried to do painting, a voice came in my mind. My friend saying, hey, it's so stupid. One time, my mother bought brushes, canvases, paints, and I was like, you know what? Let's actually try painting. My mom came from behind. Oh wow, Rhythm, you have drawn this. It's so good. Yeah, but the voice in my thought too said it's so stupid. The voice is like, no, Baba, I didn't say anything. Then I understood. It wasn't the friend who was telling me that the painting was stupid. He only told me for the one time, but not for every painting. It was between me and my own thought. It has happened many times, like if I play guitar and then I can't do one chord or one notation. Then the voice in my brain says, it's stupid. I'm like, no, I know it's not stupid. It's also cool. I can do this. That's what I know.
So Darshan, you need to unmute.
I have been doing this since COVID times. I've been hosting virtual sessions since COVID times. And even now, every now and then, somebody has to say, Are, you're on mute. Please unmute yourself. So the thing is, no matter how many times you do something, you're bound to make mistakes like this, as in just not unmuting yourself. Which is what I tell all the people telling a story also. No matter how well you think you are as a storyteller, as a speaker, this needs to be a continuous practice. And you also need to get used to making silly mistakes like not unmuting yourself. So even when I tell stories, sometimes I forget. I'll forget what I have to say. I will stumble over words. I will use filler words. I'll do all of those things. But my intention is not to always be perfect. My intention is to just keep doing it again and again, keep telling a story again and again. So for everyone who's listening in, doesn't matter where you are in your speaking confidence storytelling journey. If you're starting, great. If you're in the middle, great. If you're very good, great. Still tell a story. Because this, like everything else in the world, is a practice. Now, in the two stories that we heard, one by Anandata and one by Rhythm, you saw that they were talking about everyday moments from their life. It wasn't a speech that they had prepared a lot, and then they were saying, Nelson Mandela said this, or da 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 da. It wasn't like that, which is what we are expected to do in some schools, for example, or debate competitions, for example. And while all of those things have their place, the beauty of a personal story, of a story from your life, is that the act of telling the story also helps you develop other skills and also helps you really enjoy different aspects of your life more. Because when Anandita is talking about JCB and how her brother loves the JCB, her brother is smiling, even though it's very small. The mom and dad are smiling. She is like having fun with a really nice experience that she's had. When Rhythm is talking about how some friend of his said that your painting is stupid, and then he started thinking, oh no, this is stupid, and then he eventually learned how to paint, what he's doing is he's documenting the process of his own growth and his own learning. So he is talking about something from his everyday life, and that speaking of that everyday life is making his experience of that everyday life better as well. So for those of you who are very young, all you have to think of is, how do I tell a story every day? And for those of you who are slightly older, so either you are very young as a child or you've been a child and have started to like be older, in that case, what I want you to do is I want you to think of a few myths that I will start unraveling. So here's a couple of myths that I really want to talk about. The first myth basically is something that is not true, by the way. Okay. The first thing is being confident means speaking well. So we think that being confident is only about speaking well. And the second myth is that being confident means being extroverted. So extroverted is a word that people use and say that, oh, my child should be extroverted. He's very introvert. He's very shy. Now, both of these are myths, or they're not true. The way we at Tiny Mike Story look at being confident is more holistic, is more general. What do I mean by this? I mean that being confident is more than speaking confidently. So in the diagram that you see, speaking confidently is a small part of the overall being confident. Also, being confident is not about being extrovert. Extroversion, introversion is about where do you get your energy from. If you meet a lot of people and you get a lot of energy and you get excited, you're an extrovert. If you meet a lot of people and after some time you're like, you know what, I need to just go sit by myself, journal, listen to music, cook, then you're an introvert. There is nothing wrong with being an extrovert. There's nothing wrong with being an introvert. For a lot of you, at different stages of your life, you will also move from being an extrovert to being an introvert. With different groups of people, you might be an extrovert. With different groups of people, you might be an introvert. All of that is a natural part of life. Being confident is more than all of this. So, what is being confident? Now, the way we look at it, being confident is divided in two parts. Being confident in who I am is called self esteem. Being confident in what I do is called self efficacy. And if you are confident in who you are, which is self esteem, if your self esteem is high, and if you're confident in what you do, which is you're confident in your ability to do different things, that's self efficacy, that is what we want to develop. And the speaking is a very small part of it. In fact, the speaking is a tool that we use. The storytelling is a tool that we use, is a method that we use for developing genuine confidence. And at Tiny Mike Story, we say this again and again. Don't worry too much about individual stories and it becoming great. Just do it every single day, and you will see the act of storytelling will help you become more confident. The act of storytelling will help you develop what's called self-esteem and self-efficacy. And in all of this, I want to tell everyone there is more. So I've made a course at tinymikestory.com. For those who are interested, you can go and watch that. But even if you don't, being confident is actually simple. It's not easy. And the difference is, simple is आसान है, आपको सिर्फ ये करना है, ये करना है, ये करना है, ये करना है. Easy is related to how much of energy you have to put in. So the way we look at it, a simple formula, a simple way for you to develop confidence in your child, in yourself, or in anyone is you play the Tiny Mike Story game. And that's what we're going to talk about. Now, the way we look at it is, if we have to develop the child's confidence, we have to look at the child's relationship with the self. How do they look at themselves? With their family and with their wider community. And if we can work on all of this, that is a way for us to develop that confidence in a child. Now, aap kahoge, yaar, I came for a storytelling workshop. What is all of this? The beauty is, when you ask a child to talk about a personal story, when you ask yourself to talk about a personal story, you will talk about what you observe, you will talk about what you feel about what you observe. And you will see that all of this maps onto the things that we have said. The child will be reflecting on what has happened. The child will be talking about, expressing what has happened. And because story is a way for you to talk, to tell a story to somebody, you will be connecting with the person that you're telling the story to. And that's what I want everybody to think of. How could we build regular reflection, expression, connection? And one way to do that is to play the Tiny Mike Story game. If you want, take a screenshot of this or take a photo of this. This is what we ask the child to do every single day with the family. For 2 minutes, you think of what happened today and what did I feel about what happened today. The last 24 hours, what are the things that go on in your mind? And then 1 minute at a time, you tell what we call the Tiny Mike Story. It has to be 1 minute only, and it has to be from your life. Things you saw, things you felt. And when you share those stories, we say the oldest person in the house starts first. So the oldest person, and then we go all the way to the youngest person. At the end, you discuss, where you give no feedback about how something was said. You only talk about what was said. I'm telling you all of this in short. If you want to know more, we've got an entire course where I teach something for the parents, and then the kids at Tiny Mike Story also teach something for kids. For now, though, what I want you to think of is, how do we use this kind of storytelling, regular personal storytelling, in everyday life? How do we have ways for kids and parents and different people in our family to keep sharing different kinds of stories? And in fact, the the kids that we have with us are also going to help us get ideas and inspirations of different stories. I'll play a small video from inside our course that the kids have taught, where the kids talk about what makes a story unique and interesting. I've said this before, the one thing you're an expert on is your own life. And in this video, the kids talk, it's a 3-minute video, the kids talk about how the best stories are from something that you observe, but something that you have a unique perspective on. So, to replay the YouTube video.
Things are important.
Back in team YouTube video, yes.
Making your stories relatable, and both of these things are important. Making your stories relatable and adding your own perspective to the story. You could also talk about something really common, something that almost everyone in the entire world wants. Say a sibling, or never-ending money, a dog. Could be anything common that everyone in the entire world wants, needs, or thinks about. But you also have to add your own perspective. That's what makes your story interesting. You have to make it relatable and you have to add your own perspective to it. Now, if you just say that I was taking my dog for a walk, that is relatable. But if you talk about what you felt when you took your dog for a walk, what you saw, described it, that's what makes your story interesting. Or let's say you went and sat in the bus. Now that's relatable. But if you talk about what you felt when you sat in a bus, what you felt sitting in a bus with complete strangers, that's interesting.
See, in my family, I'm an only child. I have my mom, I have my dad, no brother, no sister, not even a pet. Just my lonely room and my invisible friend who's mostly stuck everywhere. So, most of the time I wish I want a sibling, I want a pet, I want somebody who can play with me. Because I get very bored and my neighbors are mostly out of the house. But sometimes I wish they aren't there. Because almost everybody in my class, my other classes, my other classes has a sibling. Mostly my best friend in school, one of my friends in school, my bestest friend in school, she has an older sister who's in 6th. And like 6th grade, I don't know why, but I have a connection with 6th. I feel like in 6th grade, I want to be the best. In 6th grade, it's like my dream grade. Apart from the easy stuff that happens in easy grades. But there, I feel like in 3rd grade this year, I was like, Mama, can we adopt a sister who's in 6th grade and who's a sister? And my mom was like, yeah. And I still want it. But there's sometimes I feel like, okay, I don't want to be like this. Because my friend, her sister has friends in 6th grade who just adore her because she has short hair. She looks very cute. So, like, they come from 6th grade, come in our classroom and, like, trouble her. And I'm like, okay, I don't want that. But most of the time, I like it. A lot of people want a sibling or might already have one. And some people might change their mind in two perspectives. One might want a sibling because they're the only child, or they have a pet but no sibling. Or second, you don't want a sibling. You just want to leave them out in the street and be like, finally, I'm the ruler here. But still, without anybody you feel alone, and with somebody you feel troubled. So it's a two-way thing. Even if you get one, you're troubled. If you don't have one, you're also troubled.
Okay, so what the kids in the video, Kiara and Miraya, were saying was things that are relatable, that everybody wants, like a pet or sibling, are things that everybody likes. But the story is interesting when you put your own unique twist, your own unique perspective to it. In fact, let me call all the kids from Tiny Mike Story back up, and we can hear how they look at everyday life and think of unique, interesting stories based on that. So, hi Shlok. Hi, I see Jihan's doing the rainbow hi already. Hi Swara and hi Nitya. Wonderful. So, we have over different weeks and sessions heard different stories from you, and I'm sure that as you tell and hear different stories, new things start coming into your mind. What I want you to do is perhaps think of a story that you have shared, or think of a story that you can think of right now where it's something that happened in your life, which could be unique, interesting for others, and also has your own unique take on it. Okay. So once you're ready, give me a thumbs up and I'll call on all of you one at a time to share a story so that we could hear from you. And then we'll have some time for people listening to also do it. Okay. So once somebody is ready with the
Who can
stories
tell
that
their
you're going
own
to share
story
about,
life is you.
so Pause. Yes. Once you guys are ready with your own stories, give me a thumbs up and then I will call on you one at a time. Okay. Perhaps what I'll do is I will also share a story because today I didn't share a story, no? So everybody in the chat, tell me, do you want to hear my story as well? Do you want to hear my story as well? Yes. Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. So I'll tell you a story. 1 minute for me so that my timer started. Okay, 1 minute for me to share my Tiny Mike story in 3 and 2 and 1. This is the story of how I met the Batman who roams in the streets of Pune fixing people's car. A few days ago, I got stuck at a friend's place for quite some time, and on the way back, my car started making a noise and it stopped. And I waited for some time, and then again I started, and again it stopped. And then I realized, oh, okay, there was something really wrong. So I was waiting for quite some time, but by that time it was 11:30, 11:40 in the night. Finally, I started calling different people and everything was closed. But I called this one garage and he said, don't worry, I'll send a guy. So the guy came almost at 12, almost midnight. And he said, no worries, I'll fix your car. So he popped the hood, he did different things and the car was working. And I was like, I'm so sorry, I called you at 12 midnight. And he was like, no, this is what I do. I begin my day at 11:30 in the night and I fix cars till the morning. And just like that, he went away. And I realized he was the Batman who fixes cars in Pune in the nighttime. So that's my Tiny Mike story. Okay, great. So all the kids, do you have a story? Yes? Okay, great. So we'll start. I see Jihan is saying yes. Jihan, 1 minute for you. Your time starts in 3, 2, 1, and
Trypanophobia. I could hardly believe it when my aunt first told me my brave brother suffers from trypanophobia. Wait, are you also as confused as I am? Yes, trypanophobia is the fear of needles. And I could hardly believe my aunt, so I accompanied my brother to the hospital for his vaccination. And to get him out of the car, we literally had to bribe him with a chocolate. Once he was on the hospital bed, 4 nurses had to hold him, but he ran out of the grass and hid behind the curtain. Literally the curtain. And after a while, they had to call some doctors and the nurses, hold him tight on the bed and give him the injection. Me and my younger brother were having a hearty laugh seeing him. That's my Tiny Mike story.
one second. Again, the mute. Okay, let's give everyone, let's give Jihan a round of applause. And all the other kids, you can come on screen. Everyone can come on screen, no worries. And give me a Give me a thumbs up or show me a hand if you'd like to share your story next. Okay, I see Nitya's hand is up. So we'll do Nitya and then Swara and then Shlok. Okay, Nitya, 1 minute for you. Your time starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
So there was this one time when my grandmother told me a story about a family when she went to London. So there was a family of three. They were eating ice cream, and then my the the ice cream was dripping over the baby's hand, mouth, and the ice cream was just melting. The mother said something to the father in Spanish. So the father took the ice cream from the baby's hand. My nanny thought that he might just wipe her hand and all, but no. He licked the ice cream, he licked the baby's hand, and then gave it back to the baby. That made me laugh. And that is actually funny. But that was the funniest thing I've ever heard. Thank you. That is my tiny Mike story.
Okay, well done. Let's give Nitya a round of applause. Well done, well done, well done. Super, super, super. Swara, you're up next. Ready? In 3, 2, 1, and go.
You know what? My little sister is a little terrorist who I can never trust. Let me tell you why. So there was this time in the year when she was 4 and she gave me a piece of her own chocolava, totally free of cost. I was wondering, but then I thought, "Arey, she's 4. What would she do?" And so I ate the piece of chocolava she gave me. And that little devil with the devil smile told me something after when I'd already digested the piece of chocolava. And that piece of chocolava had been fallen on the ground. And that's not the only time she's done it. The next time, she gave me a slice of her own pizza totally free of cost. I couldn't resist, but I also couldn't trust her. So I asked her to give me a promise, according to which the slice of pizza hadn't had to be fallen on the ground. And she gave me that. And later, when I ate the slice of pizza, that little devil told me something with a devil smile when I'd already digested the piece of pizza also. And you know what she told me? It wasn't fallen on the ground, but it was fallen on an ant. I was mad. I didn't know what to do. And that's why I never trust my little sister about food. And now people think I'm being rude, but they don't know how much trauma she's given me about that thing. And that's my tiny story.
Sudarshan, you're still on mute.
I know. I was just testing this time. I was just testing if you guys could identify it this time, Shlok. This was intentional. Okay. Round of applause for Swara and for her and thoughts with her for her sister who feeds her stuff from the floor. Okay, great. Up next is Shlok. Shlok, ready? In 3, 2, 1, go.
It was I was like 5 years old, and it was a long time ago. And I was playing this game about planes, and I was having fun. So this one day, I decided to open the game, and I started playing. But then I saw a button on the right side of my screen that said "Claim Free Plane," and I was like, I didn't think much of it, so I just clicked the button, and I didn't even realize what it would do. Later, my mother came to me and said, "What did you do this time? 7,000 rupees are gone." And I was like, "What? I didn't do anything." Then, when I remembered what I did earlier in the day, I was like, "Oh no, what did I do?" And in hindsight, this story gives me a lot of trauma.
Okay, wonderful. Everybody give Shlok a round of applause. How many of you, everybody, type in the chat if you've also done some version of this where you did something on the phone, you bought something by mistake, or you played something by mistake, or you downloaded something by mistake while playing a game, and your mother was like, "Why did you do that?" If that's happened with you, type Y or yes in the chat. And if you can tell us what it was, then also put that. Now, everybody, think of this. All of these stories that Jihan shared, Shlok said, Nitya shared, Swara shared, are things that made you go, oh, like if you have a sibling, you probably related to what Swara was saying. Oh, this has happened with me also. My little sister is like a terrorist or like a little devil. It's happened with you. So Swara's telling a story and you are starting to think, oh, this happens with me as well. But Swara's added her own unique twist to that story. And that's why it's interesting. When Nitya is saying, my grandma told me about this experience that she saw, or this child that she saw with the ice cream, I'm sure you have your grandmom who's telling you lots of different stories as well. So again, when Nitya's telling a story, you are thinking, oh, this happens with me as well. When Jihan is saying that there was a cousin of his that was scared of the needle, I'm sure many of you are like, oh, even I'm scared of that. Like, to be honest, even I'm kind of scared of needles right now. So that happens, yes. And when Shlok is saying this, I am sure all of you, especially because I see the comments of how many games you're talking of all the time, that some of you done something stupid on the phone while playing a game, and then your mother or father has been like, why have you done this? So what's happening is that somebody telling a story from their own life is making you think of stories from your life. And because those stories are unique and interesting and they're adding their own perspective to it, the stories are unique and nice as well. So the best stories come from your own life. The best stories are stories from your own life, not what you've prepared somewhere, not somebody else's speech that you are repeating. It's good to do that also sometimes, but the best stories come from your own life. And that's why at Tiny Mike Story, we say only talk of stories from your own life. So we'll play a small video where some of the kids also explain why the best stories come from your own life. So back in team, the next YouTube video, please.
And who can tell your own story life is you.
I think the most important stories always come from my life and not from anything particular like a show or a TV show or a book.
Stories that are from your own life are more interesting than other stories
because there's a chance that the audience might have already experienced that story before you and it might not be as interesting to them.
I forget a lot of things. Every day when I come home from school, my mom is already there waiting on the stop. She gives me a big hug, but immediately after that she starts asking, how was your day? What did teacher teach today? What did you eat in lunch? I'm like, Mama, wait, I'm still thinking. I don't remember what I did in English. I don't remember what I ate. And then she asked me, what did you play? And I immediately gave the answer that, Mama, we played police chore. Then she asked me that how do you remember this but not your studies? Studies were long back, Mama. We played recently in the lunch break. But then she was so smart that she asked me then why don't you remember what you ate in lunch? And I was like, I don't have the answer. But now because of Dr. Binox, I know why do we forget. Our brain has two types of memories. In the short-term memory, it can hold up to 7 things at a time, but only for 20 to 30 seconds. The brain throws out the information which is not needed and transfers the information which is needed into the long term, where it is stored for decades. So though you don't remember what you wore on last Monday, I'm sure you remember how you celebrated your last birthday, don't you?
In this video, I spoke about Dr. Binox, but this became boring. So I also added my own experience in that, which made the story interesting. Because some people might have watched that video too, and they might be bored, but they have never watched you speaking about your own experiences, which makes the story more interesting. So the only person who can tell your own story life is you. And the most interesting stories are always in your own life.
Okay, so the most interesting stories are always in your own life. Things that you see, things that you feel, things that you make up. Your interesting perspective, your interesting view on the world is what makes your story interesting. Which is why the one thing that you're all an expert on is your own life. So our invitation for everyone is to play the Tiny Mike Story game with your families every single day. Ask your parents to tell a story about what they saw, what they felt, and you share a story about what you saw and what you felt. In fact, let's get the kids back on and ask them, how many stories have you shared just in the last 1 month? I know you've shared quite a few stories with me. Yes. So there are some stories that you've shared with me. There are some stories that you've shared in the classes, in the breakout rooms. There are some stories that you've shared with your family. If you mix, or if you like add all of this them up, how many stories do you think you must have totally shared in the last 1 month?
Probably 20 or 25.
20 or 25 for Shlok? Yes.
I also think 20 or 25.
20, 25 for Nitya. Yeah.
If you include all the stories which you have told in the breakout room and the stories which you have sent you, it might be a little more than 20, 25, around 30.
Okay.
45.
Yeah.
Even I think it's around 30 with the stories I told my parents too.
Okay. So, for everyone listening, imagine this. If you share 30 stories a month, that's almost one story a day. Is there a way that you won't get better? You have to get better if you share a story every single day, right? If every single day you are talking about what has happened in your life, about what did you feel about what has happened, then you will automatically find interesting things from your life to talk about. Which means what? It doesn't take a long time, but in just 7 minutes a day, 2 minutes of thinking of what happened today, what did I feel about what happened today, and 1 minute each of sharing the story and then discussing something about the story. In just 7 minutes a day, you can play the Tiny Mike Story game, and that can help you look at everyday life, find stories there. And the more you do this, you will see, without any teacher, without any coach, you will start getting better. You will start getting better at telling a story. You will start getting better at different versions of different tools of storytelling as well. So everyone here, thank you so much for helping us explain these concepts to everyone. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. I'd love to know a little bit more about you. I'm sure all the others listening will also. So tell me this, Shlok, you're right now, you said traveling in Kodaikanal, yes?
Yes.
Do you like traveling, or do you prefer being at home with your friends and playing your sports with your society members and stuff, or do you like traveling also?
I mean, traveling every day is too much, but occasionally traveling is like very fun.
And when you travel, are you like an easy traveler, or are you like a fussy traveler? Are you somebody who like gets packed one day before the travel, or are you somebody who's like still in the bed and your mom has to be like, "Are slow, get up, our train is leaving." What type of a traveler are you?
I probably, I mean, I don't pack my bags most of the time, but if I do, I usually pack it like 2 days before the trip.
You pack like 2 days before the trip. And is that like, do you pack all the clothes and do you wear all the clothes that you pack, or is it that you're a very minimal packer?
I mean, I would like to pack minimally, but my mom always stuffs in extra clothes. She says, "What if water drops on your clothes? What if the clothes get soiled?" And I'm like, "This is just gonna add extra weight."
Yes. So everyone listening in, travel stories and what happens between travel, what happens during travels are also excellent places to come up with stories, come up with interesting things. So Shlok, tell me this, when you're traveling right now in Kodaikanal and stuff, what's the most interesting thing that has happened to you? What's the what's something that you've thought of that would be interesting for us to listen to?
Well, while traveling, like on the road, there's nothing really interesting. But while I was in the hotel yesterday, my mother and I went to play housey, which the hotel had managed. So when we started the game, I got all of the first three numbers, and I was very excited. I said, "I'm going to get the Jaldi 5. I'm going to get first row." Then after some time, my luck just started to dry out. For a long time, I didn't even get a single number. And soon the end was reaching. And in the middle, I was getting like one or two numbers, but not that many. And I needed seven more. But, and the rest of the people only needed like two or three. So I was like, there's no chance. But soon, every number I started to get one after the other, until only one number was left. So I was like, if I lose from here, that would be so sad. The number was 5. So the announcer was like, single number 9, single number 6. And I was like, when is 5 going to come? And just as I didn't expect it, suddenly 5 came and I just ran towards him and I collected like whatever prize he was giving, like 200 rupees.
Okay, so your 7,000 loss is like 200 less.
That was like when I was 5, that doesn't count.
No, so that's 7,000 plus interest of all of these years. So you've repaid back 200 rupees and all the other is left. Okay, wonderful. I see in the chat like people are sharing different kinds of stories, like how the leather smell in cars sometimes makes you feel slightly pukish. Yes, there might be stories about that as well. Yes. So tell me this, Nitya. Nitya was about to go somewhere and I called her. Tell me this, Nitya. Have you ever like done something stupid, like lost money, or because I've done all kinds of stupid things when I was a kid. So have you done something stupid or silly or something that you look back and at that time was traumatic, but now you look back and say, "Arey, it was like it was funny."
No.
No, so you're like a very smart straight jacket person who's never done anything silly, is it? Ah, okay. Tell me this: in your class, do you sit in the front bench or at the back bench?
I like in second standard and before that, I used to like to sit in the first bench because I need a teacher and all. But after third standard, I met some friends and they are like, let's sit in the back. It's so fun there. There's cool air coming from there. And now I like to sit in the back.
Ah, so you're slowly transitioning from the simple straight jacket Nitya to the people who sit at the back. Those are the ones who will end up wasting money on the apps. Okay. Tell me this: when you sit in your classroom and you said there's cool breeze coming from the windows, do you sometimes find yourself looking out the windows and forgetting what's happening in the class? And what do you see outside your window? Is there like nice scenery or is there like buildings?
Outside my classroom, actually, our teachers don't allow us to look outside our classroom. But outside a classroom is buildings. Actually, they are the same buildings in which we live in. They're the same
Oh, okay.
building. Yeah.
So you stay very close to your school, is it?
Yes.
And do you like the fact that you stay close to your school, or do you miss like being in a school bus and going to the school?
I've never been in the school bus.
Ah, so you can just walk to the school, is it?
Yes.
And do you ever get late then, or you never get late?
Actually, our vice principal is telling the parent pickup on Park Street, people only get late. The bus people are on time.
Yeah, happens. No, when you're very close, you take it slightly easy, and then you get late. But if you're coming from far, then you probably don't get late. Ah, okay, okay. Very nice. Great. Now, I want to go to Swara and ask her, Swara, I've heard multiple stories of you and your sister being a little devil and all of that. But tell me this, if your sister were to tell the stories, would she tell them differently? Would she say that it is you, Swara, that is troubling her?
Yes, because she already does. All the entire world thinks I'm the person who, like, the sister.
So the entire world takes her side. Why is that?
I don't know, because she's small. Being small is the bestest thing, like, in the world. This is what I think.
Yeah, why is that? Why is being small nice?
When you are small, you don't have to get scoldings, whatever it might be. They're like, "Acha, theek hai, tu choti asna raho de, next time karo nako." But when you're old, you don't even. Everybody takes it so serious. They're like, "अरे तो मोठी झाली असं तर 11 वर्षांची झाली, 11 वर्षांची."
Okay, and only you know that your sister is not that sweet and she troubles you.
My mom also does.
Okay, okay. So you're slowly negotiating and turning everybody else against your little sister, I see.
No, that's not possible. That's impossible. Only my mom knows that. Like,
Okay. So Sora has multiple stories about her sibling. For everyone listening, stories about your sibling, about how you trouble them, how they trouble you, about what happens, and all of that can become really good stories as well. Swara, tell me this: of all the stories you've told about your sibling, which one do you like the most?
this one.
This one about the chocolava and the
Yeah.
eating chocolava.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Did you get sick afterwards by eating the ant and
No,
uh,
she hopefully removed the ant and gave me.
okay,
That
okay,
was my luck.
okay, okay. So you just got more protein then.
Ew.
Okay, great. Jehan, tell me this. You said you have siblings as well, right?
No, sir.
Because
Actually, right now I'm at my nanny's house. I don't have siblings.
you don't have siblings, but like the story that you was hearing was with your cousin, is it?
Yeah. Yes.
Ah, so tell me this. Do you like being the only child, or do you sometimes also were like, "Arey, I wish I had a sibling who would feed me chocolava and pizza from the floor"?
I actually like my cousin brother and his younger brother. My cousin brother has a sibling, and he keeps telling me, "Go against him, go against him." Everybody is with him. There's nobody on my side. I'm the one who gets shouted every time. So I want a sibling, but after hearing what my brother tells, I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, and then
But
do you have
I feel bored at home when there's nobody there. I have my friends, but like they're mostly traveling, and they all have siblings.
uh, and then when you get together with all of your cousins, what is the weirdest thing, or what is like, do you get shouted at? Has there been a time when you did something with your cousins that made all the parents go, "Arey, what are you doing?" Has there been any interesting stories with your cousins?
So most of the times when I do something like funny or weird, I quickly run away, and then my cousins are involved.
Oh, so you don't take the blame, you let the cousins do it. Is it because you're the
I
youngest?
No, I'm not the youngest. I have another younger cousin, actually two. But like when they're there, mostly because something that they have done will get me wrong, and people will mostly blame me because and my elder brother because we are big, and there's a disadvantage of being big.
Okay. So, everybody, Jihan, Shlok, Nitya, Swara, thank you so much for joining in and helping us understand stories and how to tell stories and get better. Do you have one final thought or parting message for everyone who's listening? Before we wrap it up, there will be kids who are just beginning to speak, who are slightly shy. There'll be kids who are already very good storytellers. There'll be kids who are now adults, as in there are adults who are inside of them, they're still kids and they also want to tell stories and get better. Do you have any final message, parting message for them? Anyone? You can just raise your hand and go. Yes, Nitya?
If they want to learn to be a great storyteller, then they have to join Tiny Mike Story.
Well, that's not what I expected, but no, otherwise, yes, you can of course look at tinymikestory.com for what we do. But otherwise, if at home they want to get better, what's your final message? Yes, Swara, Jehan, and then Shlok.
Just
Yeah,
share your day to day, just share your stories every day and be confident.
share your stories every day. Great. Yes, Jehan.
Practicing stories and sharing with each other, and like trying to be confident and getting rid of the stage fear will actually help you improve on your stories.
Okay, great, fantastic. And Shlok.
So telling stories has a lot more meaning than just like telling a story. It gives you a lot of values, and it also gives you some skills, and it makes you more confident and more able to speak in front of a big crowd, or if you need to speak up to somebody, then it helps a lot.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Shlok. Thank you so much, Nitya. Thank you so much, Swara. And Thank you so much, Jihan. And thank you for everyone who's joining in, listening, young, old, young at heart, slightly upset at something that has happened, slightly happy that a lot of things have happened. Whatever be the case, thank you so much for joining in. Keep telling a story. Tell a story every day to someone. Tell a story about your life, about what you see, about what you feel. And I hope I get to see some of those stories on the community page as well. Back to you, Kashish. Yes.
Awesome. This was so good. I loved all the stories that not just Nitya, Swara, Shlok and Jihan shared, but also the ones that I heard, like the videos that we heard. So interesting. So, kids, I think you all are motivated enough to post in one story, each one of you. Yes, I can see 231 comments. Let us see 231 stories come up probably on the Facebook community or the Instagram pages of Tiny Mike Story. Here the details go. So you have at the rate Tiny Mike Story, you have Habuild.in, you have at Bothras. And if you don't have any Instagram or Facebook pages, then you can just click on the link that's typed up there. Yeah, and you can post in your 1 minute stories, your Tiny Mike stories, and we would love to hear more about it. And like y'all just got to know, topics can be anything, your day to day life, with your parents, with your friends, with anyone you like. Yes. And if you want to talk about the camp and the yoga sessions, we would love to hear that too, isn't it? Awesome. So we yet have one more day tomorrow. Don't miss it. And again, if you want to invite more of your friends, your older friends, which means your parents, you are more than happy to welcome to do that. And that's it for today. Thank you so much, Swara, Jihan, and Shlok, and Nitya. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sudarshan. It was absolutely amazing. Bye.
Thank
I love
you.
you. Bye as well.
Thank you. Bye bye, everybody. See you.
Bye. Back in team, we can wrap up.